activate.
Welcome back to NASA's Summer Sizzle at NGMP. In our last video, I got an inside look at Spec 3 Racing, an amateur wheel-to-wheel race class where every car is mechanically exactly the same. But what if you wanted to go a little bit faster? What if you already have a car? And say you wanted to turn something like this into this. NASA's got a few classes for that too, and my good friend Max has been building the perfect car for it, and he's finally ready to put it to the test. Max is one of the lead master techs at Tyspeed Automotive, a BMW race shop out of Jackson, New Jersey, and one that continuously makes me feel at home. You may already know its owner Tyler Pappas, a Pikes Peak racer and NASA native who we've been covering at Petrolhead Studios for the last few years. Max has been building this car alongside all of his other duties for the last 48 months, and I've had the pleasure of witnessing it from the very beginning. So that being said, I'm probably just as excited to see this thing on track as he is.
Max Dreger, straight from Brazil. Been living in America for 6 years, and for the past 2 years I built my E36 1997. It's a ST5 Super Touring 5. It's not, I would say it's not an overbuilt car. It's a pretty simple. You can do the same. It's not nothing too crazy. Running with 17s by 9 Maxxis slicks, VRC1 tires. It makes about 190-200 horsepower. Pretty torquey. I got a diffs line on the back, a 373. Stock ZF transmission. Pretty much all the bushings on the rear axle specifically are all spherical bearings. I don't have rubber or poly ball joints. So it handles pretty good. It's almost like a go-kart. I came from go-kart, so having a car that gives me a similar feeling is pretty rewarding out there. Any crazy thing happen is a driving mistake, then I cannot blame the car. So if you see me doing anything crazy out there, it's most my fault. But she treats me pretty good so far. We just went out for qualifying. This is our second round with this car. The track is definitely a little grease. The rear axle also was pretty soft, so we tied that up, and we have a race in about an hour and a half.
I see you got new Fortunatos on there.
Yes, shout out for the boys at Fortunato, for Ray, all the boys out there. We've been working with them since day one pretty much. We just came up with this new true coilovers for this car, Fortunato. Essentially they not offered on the market yet true coilovers for E36 or E46, so we developed this one in the past 2 months. This is actually the first event that I'm testing them, and so far so good. It works amazing. I have a bunch of grip on the rear end. Just need to find sweet spot with shocks, sway bars, and yeah, it should. I hope I can optimize this by the end of the day, so then for the following race tomorrow we can have like a car dial in on a perfect window.
And this used to be like your daily driver. Like you used to drive this to work with the cage and all that.
Literally, I mean, I just got a truck now, so I still have the AC on, which is amazing to be in the pit lane with my AC on. The car weighs, without me and in a quarter of a tank, weighs 2,670 pounds. And I used to daily drive the thing out of it. I went to like New York, Bronx, everywhere, like Brooklyn. It been through a bunch. Like I probably in the 2 years that I have the car with cage, you know, good interior, I put about like 20,000 miles on it. So she treated me pretty good, knock on wood, never broke down, literally never gave me an issue. And the E36 is a tank, you can kill those things.
Yeah. And you're like a huge touring car fan. Like this kind of like was the ethos behind your build. Tell me a little bit about that and like how that stuff inspired this car.
Yeah, so the background there is I'm a big BTCC fan. I have like all the review seasons from 1993 to 1999. This car, literally everything that I could bring from those BTCC cars as inspiration and attached to this car and use on this car, I done it. One of the little things that has is the BTCC cars in 1993 had the fire system and the kill switch here. So that's something that I add. Ride height, I'm trying to get close to there. The plan is run 18s like the BTCC cars. It has a bunch of little small things that you can see on the 1993, 1995 BTCC cars that I have here. Eventually I want to add the rear wing, the front splitter, so it looks very like the BTCC cars. But yeah, the base of this car was more like try to build something as close as similar to those cars back in the day, which is very hard. Those cars were like over engineered and, you know, manufactured money on top of it. But that's loud.
Yeah.
That's what that's as far as I got in the past 2 years to bring that image and of the BTCC cars to real life.
What's really cool about like this ST5 class and potentially ST4 too is that you're eligible to like do a lot of things with this. So like you could do grid life.
Yes.
You can do Club TR. You could do GLTC
E5,
eventually. Yeah. Like
it's not a car that you build and you only going to use in one category. That's, I feel like, a luxury, if you will, that I can use in probably 4 to 5 different categories. So far right now we're running Super Touring 5. By the end of the year I want to run in Pittsburgh, Philadelphia with Club TR and Grid Life. One, because I have a bunch of my boys there and you know, hanging out with the people, have fun. That's the most important thing. But yeah, the beauty of that is I can fit this car in roughly 4 or 5 different categories, and I feel like that's a very hard thing to find these days. Or you build a car specifically to one category, or you don't build at all.
Right.
And the rule book is pretty manageable. You can do a lot of stuff. Like I have all spherical bearings, which is something that I mentioned before. I get a penalty for it, but it's not a huge penalty. It has a lot of give and take. Depends on the tire that you use. You can gain and then you can lose, so you can play around. If anybody is planning like to build a touring car or want to, you know, move from Miatas or move from go-karts to a car, definitely Super Touring 5 is affordable. You don't need to go super crazy. It's a pretty simple building. Like it's not much overcomplicated. It's easy to maintain. Matter of fact, my first event I drove here, did the comp school, did 4 practice, qualifying, 3 races, and I drove back home. So it's a pretty reliable car. You don't need to spend a load of money on it, and you definitely treat you good.
For the last part of this video, we're going to follow Max and another Tyspeed member, Tom Grady, who brought his absolutely gorgeous E46 M3 built to the maximum GTS3 rule set. Both of these groups will be on track at the same time, making for some very interesting passes. Let's see how they do. Not the ending that he wanted, but this is the part of racing that is not often showed. While the car is mostly complete, there is still development and fine-tuning needed to dial this car in to Max's driving style. Furthermore, that day the car was on used tires from last season, and while competent on the first 10 laps, they started to show their age as they gained temperature. With no aero and Max trying to keep up with the pack, the rear end started to just give way. Once the tires exceeded their limits, Max was just along for the ride. With a fresh tire swap and some minor adjustments later, Max was able to finish 5th in his next race. Not bad at all for his second race weekend ever behind the wheel, especially in a fresh new build. For now, that's about all we got from NGMP. Stay tuned for more development of our Spec 3 race car, and comment below where you'd like to see it compete next. Thanks for watching.
I'm sorry.